Hey guys, how are y'all doing? Kinda weird for me, isn't it? Well, I know I didn't say anything last time, but I found a visual novel that kind of piqued my interest. So, I thought I'd give it a try while waiting for other games to pique my interest. One that I'm expecting is coming in February, so even if I didn't find anything that I would have wanted to stream, I would have been in the lull for just until now and then. But luckily I found something. Right now, let me get the links out. Still, I am glad to be back at my new normal setup, though. The system I'm going to be using today never caused me issues in that regard. But yeah, it's a visual novel today, gonna be that for a while. So if you guys aren't really interested in that, then I suggest you wait until February for when I'll have a new game. Until then, I'll just be doing this for however long it takes. Alright. My nose is also going, so I might as well just also grab another drink. While I get this set up. But like I said, I'm so glad to be able to use this setup again. And for those of you that missed the last stream, which was a Genshin stream, you all missed the new addition to the stream, not in terms of anything too particular, just something that hasn't been around for a while. And as such, it would make things a lot better. just because you guys get to see so-called ugly mug and be able to have a better chance of knowing if I was muted or not compared to how things usually are. Looks like I'm good to go here. On the bright side, I don't have quite as many places to post here. Okay, so looks like this one's got me, so I don't have to worry about that. We'll go here. This one, I'm good, so not there. Check it out. But yeah, with how things are, a lot of these links that I usually share out, they already posted for me, which is kind of nice, as long as I do it properly. Don't go dark. I don't want it to go dark. Because the dock I'm using gets a bit finicky. Like, it's a nice dock from Best Buy. Gives me what I need to be able to consolidate my setup, because before I was mainly using what I use now when I do Switch streams and just did natively from PS5, so that's why things weren't consistent for a long time. And the finicky thing about it, which is the Rocket Fish dock, is that unlike the original dock that you get with the Switch, it won't turn on the Switch itself, and it's got problems like with waking up and that to display it on the screen, so I have to do some certain things to make it show up, and I don't want to go through that. It's dark. That just means a bigger headache getting things set up for you guys. That one doesn't work out. Alright, so that gives us that. Gives us thing. Alright, got my links shared out, but I feel like I need to get a drink first. And I'll pull up the game. So, be right back, guys. Alright, now I'm ready. Time to bring up the game and then I'll switch on over. And I also remembered to mute the display so that you guys won't have any echoing on your end. And here we are. But, hello guys. I hope you're all doing good. I had a better day today than yesterday, simply because I didn't wake up with the kind of scare that I had. But yeah, I'm here with a VN that I wanted to try out, called Tales from Toyotoki. If you guys aren't interested in VNs, then now is the time to leave, because I'm gonna be reading here. But on the flip side, if any of you feel like talking, I'll be able to interact more often, because VNs don't take up quite as much of my attention. And with that, let's get on with this. It had been decided. March, just as I was about to finish my first year of high school, my aunt handed me a piece of paper. This is for you. What's this? It's your boarding pass. A one-way ticket to Naha. Naha. What for? I asked nervously. No guardian would give their child a boarding pass without a reason. A bad feeling started to grow in my stomach. And that feeling was right on the mark. Starting tomorrow, you're living with your grandpa. In other words, I was going to move. This was how I ended up leaving Tokyo to live in Okinawa. This is a work of fiction. It is unrelated to any real persons or organizations. Also, we provide no guarantee against any damages. Oh yeah, typical disclaimer there. Tales from Toyotoki, Arrival of the Witch. As soon as I got off the plane, I knew I was in Okinawa. The artwork kind of here seems kind of interesting. It's like the old storybooks that you would go through with children. But I'm not too sure that I like it too much. What about you guys? Anyway, let's get on with this story here. Posters plastered with the word Mensor. Billboards advertising Soki Soba. And of course the tropical air. It was the off season, so there weren't that many tourists. I put on my backpack and made my way to the ferry boarding area. From Naha, I took the ferry west. Then I transferred boats again at the terminal. I ate an onigiri while I was waiting. Just something small before I set sail. I was traveling solo for this trip. All because my aunt's family was moving abroad. I was the only one moving to Okinawa. All thanks to some family matters. I'm used to it though, so it didn't bug me. More than that, I was worried about moving to a remote island. A remote island? It's Okinawa. But then again, I'm not too sure of my geography here. At least in terms of Japan, I just know Japan and Hawaii are relatively close together to the point where you'll hit Hawaii before you hit the continental US. It takes a plane and a ferry to get to the island my grandfather lives on. It'll be a far cry from the city, that's for sure. They probably wouldn't even have any convenience stores. What if I can't keep up with my Leap comics? On vacation now, are we? A senior citizen came up to me, probably found it strange that a young person was traveling alone. Actually, I'm moving here. All by yourself? That must be tough. Where are you moving? Toyotoki Island. I'm going to live with my grandfather. Toyotoki Island? Why in the world would you move there? Why? Is there something wrong with it? They don't take too kindly to outsiders, see? Bad news right off the bat. Say, what's your grandfather's last name? Nishime, I think. My aunt never adopted me, so I still use my given last name. Seeing how it's my grandfather on my father's side, I assume his last name is Nishime too. I'm not too sure about this kid's family here, but in my mind I'm like, the father could have taken the mother's name instead. But that just depends on how Japan works. I think Japan works in the traditional sense that of how things are over here, where the woman takes the husband's name, if I remember right, but don't quote me on that. Anyone wants to correct me, the comments or whatever, feel free to. That's an Okinawan name, at least. If that's so, maybe you'll get along. You think so? Ah, ha, ha. Us Okinawans aren't all too strict. Take care now. Woohoo! He gave me a weird high five. That lifted my spirits a bit. It was time to get on the boat. It was all ocean as far as the eye could see. But despite the view, I wasn't excited. The sea is innocent, it doesn't discriminate. The view put me in a poetic mood. The small boat rolled on for about 30 minutes and finally arrived at the destination, Toyotoki Island. The island I'll call home. Walk for a short while and you'll find mountains. Turn around and you'll see the ocean. No smell of rusting metal or car exhaust. Not a single odor from the city was present here. Aside from a building with a lounge, there wasn't much that stood out at the port either. I didn't have much, but without a map I was in real trouble. I only knew the address to my grandfather's house. I could look it up if I had a smartphone, but of course I wasn't allowed one. Maybe I should ask around. I'm sitting here going, even if you had a smartphone, kid, you'd still have to translate it out to real life. Because a lot of the maps don't really help you in that regard, even if you utilize Street View. Since Street View a lot of the times is past photos instead of current. So he's doing a good job of asking around here. I pulled myself together and left the port. All of a sudden, there were 3 old folks in my path. They were spreading out a banner that read, "Out with the Outsiders, Toyotoki Island Seniors Association." Out with the Outsiders. Seems like the senior citizens are the ones with that kind of mood there, if they're signing it with that. But then again, I'm just sitting here going, you guys seem like idiots unless you're really, really active, which a lot of the seniors outside of continental US are likely to be. You're going to need help, and an island full of senior citizens is just asking for trouble in there, regardless of how capable they are. So that's what they meant by they don't take too kindly to outsiders. What's your business here, outsider? How long are you staying? Where are you staying? What's your number? They drew closer. I tried to keep my distance from them, but someone else appeared behind me. I've been surrounded. Someone help me. I kind of wish that they put a lot of people here. Just like maybe do some generic character images for this part, but I'm having kind of a hard time imagining this except for in my mind. So it's kind of written in a way that prose makes more sense to present the story than a visual novel here.
まあまあ皆さん、それくらいにしてあげてください。
Alright, everyone, that's enough. And here we finally have another photo. Just as I thought I was done for, a girl showed up out of nowhere. And this really does seem kind of out of place. The background is a bit realistic, yes, but how they're presenting the characters here just seems like a cardboard cutout to me. With how it is, like, it's not bad looking, it's just kind of strange here. But oh well, I might get used to it. A middle school student, maybe? She was short and pale-skinned. A pretty girl with a charm about her.
その人、実はうちのお客様なんですよ。
He's a guest
それ
of
に免じて通してあげていただけませんか？
He's a guest of ours, actually. So can you please let him through for my sake? Oh, he's a friend of your family's, is he? Well, now, if you say so, you can pass. Well, now, if you say so, you can pass. Sorry we scared you, my boy. Care for some candy? The group of elders quickly walked away. That was quite the change in attitude. Was this girl some important person's granddaughter or something?
ささ、西目さん、こちらへ。
Alright, follow me, Nishime. As I stood there confused, the girl beckoned me over. Still processing the situation, I mindlessly followed the pretty girl. Toyotoki Island. An island located east of the Okinawan mainland. From above, it looks like a long, thin strip of land stretching north to south. At both ends of the island are mountains, with a residential area and fields sandwiched between. There was only one village on the island. Scattered about to the west near the port were what could barely be considered buildings. But the stores were completely different from Tokyo. None of the major chain stores were here, not even a sign. On this island, every shop was individually owned. As for public facilities, there was only a library and a community center. Even in scale, there was no comparison. At least that's what I heard. Sure is a small island, isn't it?
東京ドーム82個分しかありませんからね。
We're equal to the size of 82 Tokyo domes, after all. That's oddly specific. We left the port and walked towards what appeared to be the residential area. The houses here were mostly one-story. Red roof tiles seemed like the standard here, which gave the houses an exotic feeling. The Okinawan lion statues that stood at the gates served to accentuate the feeling even more. Who were those people back there anyway?
あれは、そうですね。
Alright.
自警団のようなものと思ってください。
Alright, think of them as a sort of vigilante group. A vigilante group?
ええ。警察っぽいことをする人たちなんですが、
Yes,
昨日置き引きが発生してピリピリしているんです。
yes, I suppose they're like the police. Someone's luggage was stolen yesterday, so they're a bit on edge. And that's why they were questioning
こ
me.
の島は観光客も来ませんしね。
It's not often we get tourists here. Hold on, guys. bring up my... There we go. Now I can see my things better. Okay. It's not often we get tourists here.
顔を知らない人がいたら、よからぬ目的で来ているに違いないと考える人たちもいるわけです。
When some of the folks see someone they don't recognize, they just assume they must be up to no good.
西目さんは顔が売れてませんから気をつけてください。
People haven't gotten used to seeing you yet, so do be careful while you're here. Got it, I'll be careful, but there's something I've wanted to ask you.
なんでしょう。あかりの美しさの秘密ですか？
What is it? My secret to staying beautiful, is it? As if I care. What? No, I wanted to ask. How do you know my name? We've never met before.
え、
What? What?
まさかお忘れなのですか？
Oh
愛
my.
らしく美しい少女のことを記憶から消してしまったと。
Oh
い
my.
らっしゃるのですか？
Oh my. Don't tell me you forgot. Are you saying that such a lovely, beautiful girl somehow slipped from your memory? Well, I don't blame our protag here for not remembering if he hasn't been on this island for a while. Or she could have just moved out to this island too. I don't know which one it is. We've met before?
そうですよ。忘れているのなら改めて自己紹介をしましょう。
Yes, we have. Since you've forgotten, let me reintroduce myself.
私は赤積あかり。豊時島に住まうしがない美少女です。
I am Akari Akatsumi. Just a beautiful little girl living on Toyotoki Island.
どうです？あまりの愛らしさにシナプスが刺激されたでしょ？
So, did my sweetness activate those dull synapses of yours? No, they didn't. You're just coming off as arrogant here that I kind of feel like punching you in the face. Because of your smugness. Nope, not at all. So when did we meet?
教えません。そういうのは思い出してこそロマンがあるんです。
There's no romanticism in telling you myself. You need to figure that out on your own. Seriously, Hikari. You're getting on my nerves. Can't you give me a little... No, can't you give me a hint?
ダメです。
Nope. No, huh? I stared into Hikari's face. For someone living in Okinawa, she was fair-skinned, cute too. It wasn't a face I would forget, but for some reason I couldn't remember. A face you couldn't forget? She just has a generic face to me. We must have met a really long time ago. Wait a minute. Does that mean I've been to this island before? I had no memory of it, but there's no way I could have met Akari if I hadn't come here. So that means you know my grandfather, right?
あかりの父は西目さんの祖父と親しくしていたと聞いています。西目さんとはその縁です。
Apparently my father was close to your grandfather. That's how we know each other. Ah, so that's why. I felt a wave of emotions. The move. This remote island. A reunion with a cute girl who I have no recollection of. Suddenly everything seemed to be in motion. Was this the end of my colorless existence? The beginning of a new, vibrant chapter? Could this even be the start of a blossoming romance?
到着しましたよ。
We're here! We must have been walking for 15 minutes. She brought us into the middle of the village. In front of me was what appeared to be my grandfather's house. Written on the nameplate here was the name Nishime. Thanks for bringing me all the way
い
here.
えいえ。あかりは西目さんから心づけをいただければ、それで十分ですので。
No need to worry, a token of gratitude will be more than enough. Token of gratitude? That's exactly what I was thinking there, Hikaru.
日本円と言ってもいいでしょう。西目さん、感謝の気持ちは金額で表現できるんですよ。
Japanese yen, if you will. You can express your gratitude through money, isn't that nice? You punk. I feel like punching you even more. Yes, I know that a lot of society says you shouldn't hit girls. But she's getting on my nerves right now. In other words, she is asking me to pay up. I felt a cloud casting darkness over my plans for romance. And I have no sympathy for you here, Protag. Figures. This is how the world works. I took out a 1,000 yen note out of my wallet, half of my entire
理
savings.
想上散歩プランの対価としてはいまいちですが、西目さんとは知らない仲ではないですからね。
Barely enough to cover the costs of a walk with a beautiful girl, but I suppose I could give you the family friend discount. Seriously! Why do you make me want to punch you? Just be good out of the goodness of your heart.
野口英世で手を打ちましょう。ではでは。
It's a deal. I'll take that note off your hands. Akari plucked the money from my hands and took off. No small talk, no see you again. Whatever. I pulled myself together and turned my attention to my grandfather's house. On closer inspection, I could see that the garden was a mess. The garden stones were barely visible from all the weeds sprouting up. I tiptoed my way through the garden so as to avoid any bugs. When I reached the entrance, I breathed in deep. What was I supposed to say when we met? Long time no see? Or nice to meet you? I didn't remember if I had met him or not. I should avoid saying anything weird. To be on the safe side, I'll stick with thank you for having me. I rang the bell. Well, I rang the doorbell. I waited for a bit, but there was no answer. I tried the bell once more. After the third time, I started to get a bad feeling. Could he be gone? The lights weren't on, unlike the other houses. There wasn't any car in the driveway. Why would a car be in the driveway be of any significance here? But then again, I don't know about this island. I've heard that Okinawa was pretty much as bad as Nassau in the Bahamas and a lot of cities in the States. But this island seems like it's walkable, so there's no point in having a car. Plus, these guys are old, and while they may have their facilities to be able to drive, a lot of the times when you're old, you lose those capabilities that make driving an option. So I have no idea why a car would be mentioned here. He's gone out. On the day that his grandson is coming over, what kind of grandparent does that? Seriously, kid. Your grandfather can be out just because life calls for it. Well, there's no point waiting around. I guess I'll take a walk. Not long after the sun had set, even after it turned dark, my grandfather didn't come back. Well, crap. I had to admit I didn't expect this turn of events. Would anyone know where my grandfather was? I started by asking the neighbor next door. Who's there at such a late hour? I have business with your neighbor. Neighbor, Mr. Nishime. Would you happen to know where he is? Nishime? Why, he left the island near 6 months back. What? Okay. This is crazy to me. Like, yes, a lot of anime and such have teens living alone in that. So I'm not too out of left field about that, but his grandfather leaving the island 6 months before, and then his aunt giving him a ticket to come here. It seems like they don't communicate well. She wouldn't have given him the pass if she knew he isn't gonna be on the island. But let's just roll with this. So yeah, Nishime, why he left the island near 6 months back? He left 6 months ago? Even though I was supposed to live with him? Do you know where he went? Don't know. I think he mentioned living in a foreign country. A foreign country? What the hell is going on here? By the way, you're not from around here, are you? Did you get permission to be here from the Seniors Association? And why would the Seniors Association care so much? Because they are going to need some young blood beyond the girl. Of course, I'm actually Akari Katsumi's guest. Guest of Katsumi's. Sorry for questioning you. I brought up Akari's name without a second thought. It seems to have some effect on the seniors around here. The use of her name should be included in the 1,000 yen I paid her, I believe, so I should take advantage of it. Still, this day is unfolding in entirely unexpected ways. The person I was supposed to live with was nowhere to be seen. This is so rough. Almost feels like the universe is bullying me. If only there was a millionaire fallen over somewhere. I doubt there would be a millionaire on this island. Then I could help them. Oh, thank you, kind sir. How would you like to have dinner at my place? Turns out they have a child that they were separated from. And boom, turns out I'm their child. What am I doing? Stop daydreaming. Come on, use your head, think. Okay, so, because my grandfather isn't here, I don't have a place to sleep tonight. I need somewhere to stay. A hotel is out of the question. No way there would be any hotels on this island. I don't even have the money for it. In which case I should use the public facilities. And when there's trouble, you should go to the police. I've always had a good relationship with cops. Wait. You had a good relationship with cops? What's going on here? You have a history of abuse, kid? All thanks to how well my aunt raised me, I guess. I don't really buy that. Typically, people aren't that well acquainted with the police unless you're in trouble or your family is part of the police. Though I guess kids and such do take tours of various facilities to learn things too, so could just be that. Good evening. There was a police box on the corner of a residential area. It looked like any other house, so I had a hard time finding it. But thankfully this should solve my problems. Good evening, is anyone here? No response. When I looked down, I saw a sign was posted. We're closed for the day. For today. So much for the police! Seriously? It's closed just like any other shop. The police box is only open until 7 p.m. Aren't they supposed to be open 24/7? The countryside, man. Crazy. Ugh. What the hell am I going to do? First my plans for romance are dashed, and now this. I just need to find a place to stay, any place. Preferably a house with a maid. You're just digging your own grave, too, Protag. Of course, the maid would be beautiful with huge. And I want to punch you in the face right now, Protag. Snap out of it already. Look at the cold hard truth. Face the facts. I already know what I need to do. Fact is, I have only one option. Sleep outside. I can't believe this. I mean, I was supposed to be moving here. Why is this happening to me? But it's not like I have any other options. I hobbled along, leaving the police box behind. At some point I arrived at the eastern part of the island, a sugarcane field. There's a famous song that calls these fields a sugarcane forest. They really are much larger in person. At least 6 feet tall, I'd say. They grow so densely packed that it does feel like a real forest. On the other hand, the harvested areas are barren and rocky. I tried to look for space where I could sit comfortably. As I was searching, I came across a secret base among the field. It wasn't exactly a secret anymore, but judging by how the primitive-looking hut was made with sugarcane, it had to be someone's secret base. It must have been built by kids on the island. Well, we haven't seen too many youth on this island, so I wouldn't be surprised if it's the protagonist that built this, as much as they annoyed me enough that I want to punch them in the face instead of laughing. Which means now that it's nighttime, it'll be unoccupied. I'm just happy it has a roof. I threw in my bag and went inside. It's too narrow to stretch out my legs, but if I leaned on my bag and sat cross-legged, I could probably get some sleep. It was still early, but with everything that happened, I was exhausted. Now that I found shelter, my next task should be to find food, but I don't think I can even stand. None of the shops would be open anyway. When I'm hungry, I'll just go to the park and fill up on water. All that's left now is to go to sleep.
そこで何してんの?
Except you'll starve to death, kid. See, what are you doing in there? The moment I closed my eyes, someone called out to me. I peeked my head out from the hut. I couldn't help but look bewildered at the sight. There was a girl standing outside. Oh my gosh! Don't tell me the youth are all girls here. What's more, her appearance looked like she was taken right out of some kind of manga. Her facial features were distinct to start. A distinct, sharp face, too distinct to be entirely from Asia. Whether she was tanned or was born that way, her skin was dark golden brown. From her appearance, I assumed she was the same age, if not younger than I was. Despite that, she had the figure of a full-grown adult. She had legs that go on for days. She was also well endowed. If she told me she'd crossed her arms to rest her chest on them, I wouldn't have batted an eye. Okay. And her clothes are almost otherworldly. Her clothes like fabric wrapped around her, her cape like something a witch would wear. The pendant necklace around her neck, the earrings hanging from her ears decorated with precious stones. She had rings on both hands, and on her feet were some durable-looking boots. She was wearing some lavish accessories, but strangely it didn't come off as gaudy or unpleasant. It felt like they belonged on her. With the moon behind her, it added even more depth to the mysterious air she possessed. It was as if she wasn't part of this world. And the beautiful girl was looking down at me. There was no telling what would happen next. Her aura was more than enough to make me feel that way. That being said, I couldn't bring myself to move. I held my breath, waiting for the girl to continue. Then she finally spoke.
それ、私が作ったんだけど。
I built this, you know. Come on. Beat him. Beat him. Beat him. I half expected her to say something cliche like, you can see me, or at least something along those lines. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. I mean, why not? It's every boy's dream to encounter the unknown. But alas, this is the real world. Oh right, yeah, sorry about that. Judging by the way she spoke, she wanted me gone, so I crawled out from the hut. As I stood up, a pleasant scent tickled my nose. I think her clothes might have been perfumed with incense. Even after standing up, she seemed tall. She must be at least 5'4".
こんな時間まで遊んでないで、早く家に帰りなさい。
My goodness, what were you thinking playing outside this late? Go home already. Well, he doesn't have too much luck, and I wanted to see you beat him up. Contrary to her mysterious outward appearance, the girl spoke perfectly fluent Japanese. She didn't speak any otherworldly dialect, nor did she display any supernatural abilities. Of course, why would she? Fantastical delusions are just that, delusions. They aren't real. I would, but I don't really have a house to go home to. That's why I was borrowing this hut. That's why you punch him.
ダメよ。これは私の家だから。
That won't do. This is my house. This is a house? Did you build it yourself?
だったら何よ。
So, what if I did? Oh, nothing, nothing. Okay. Seriously. She said she built this hut. And you're asking if she built it? When she says it's her house? Don't make her repeat herself here.
じゃあ、どっか行って。気が散るから。
Alright then, leave me alone. You're getting on my nerves.
まだ何か用？
What? Is there something else? I don't have a house, so could you teach me how to make a hut, please? I lowered my head. And I don't have anything to eat. Could I maybe have some of your food? I may have been a bit too greedy with that second request. I should just get my own food, really.
食べ物は少ししかないから。
I don't have a lot to give, alright? Wait, I
今
can't?
回だけだから。
I'm only helping you this one time. Okay, she says that, but I have a feeling that this is where they're gonna get together and strike up a conversation or something. Just kind of feels that way to me. Let's see. Though visibly annoyed, the girl helped me. After a short struggle, I finished making a hut for myself. The girl made it known that she didn't want me anywhere near her, and so I built it on the opposite side of the field. It'd be best to camp near each other so that wild animals won't come near us, but apparently she found me more of a threat. Well, that's typical. And I wouldn't be surprised with how quickly your mind goes dirty, Hikaru. Girls, am I right? Again, you're the one with dirty thoughts earlier. So you deserve that treatment. Now that my hut was finished, I went over to get food. I decided that the candy and chocolate in my bag would be a nice gesture of goodwill.
食べるものあるじゃない。
So you do have food after all. Yes, but it's not very filling. Chocolate and candy for dinner, not unless I was stranded on an island. Well, I agree with you there, Hikaru. What are you gonna eat?
これよ。森で捕まえたの。
These, I caught them in the forest. They were snakes. Judging by the blood that was dripping, she must have killed them recently. Am I on a survival show right now? Oh my gosh! Can you really eat that? You can eat anything pretty much, Hikaru. You just have to be willing to try things out all the way up to the eat it, sleep through the night, and hope you wake up feeling well.
バカね。これが縄にでも見えるわけ？
No, this is my new jump rope. Of course we can eat. Of course we can, dummy. I'm liking her sarcasm here. Apparently she thought I was joking. It seems like our lifestyles scratch that our whole worldviews were different. As I stood frozen in shock, she began gathering dry grass. Before long, she had a campfire going. Then she skewered the snakes on some sticks and put them over the fire. I watched on, remembering that pit vipers were common in Okinawa. It wasn't my problem, though. I remembered seeing a sign in the back of the field warning people of the pit vipers. How long have you been on the island?
昨日来たばかりよ。
Since yesterday. I just got here. Here. Yeah, I think I see these two getting together by how things are progressing, but I don't know if this is a kinetic visual novel or one based on choices. Because this is the second VN that I've been through with her relation to Kemco. And the last one, I wouldn't say it was good quality-wise, but it was so cliche and funny that it was worth it anyway. And I'm kind of hoping that this is the same. And it's got that feeling. But I'm more of interested in what the coming-of-age story is here, since that's what it's telling me. That's what I could grasp that was. But they've got that bit of in common for sure, that they just got here recently. Are you on a trip or something? On some errands. What kind of errands are you on? Oh, okay. I have to say, the people on this island are blessed. She suddenly changed the topic. I didn't really feel like digging any deeper, so I just went along with it. What do you mean by blessed? Everyone wears beautiful clothing. They live in houses, no one goes hungry, and there are no slaves. So what do you normally eat? Bread and cheese, the occasional hunt or two. Hunting, right? Where could she be from? Something from my geography class came to mind. A few stories from faraway countries. There are still children out there that work for $1 a day, who take 3 hours to get to school. Is it alright if I ask you know where you're from? And why should I tell you? She has a point. How about your name? That's okay, right? Mine is Hikaru Nishime. It's Lilun Jaminithida. Her name had a mysterious ring to it. Could it be an Indian name? Or maybe who's Hispanic? I couldn't quite tell. They're done. Go ahead and eat. Leland handed me a snake. Roasted pit viper, head and all. Aren't pit vipers poisonous? Or were they poisonous? I'm not too sure about this. If someone knows for sure, go ahead and say something in chat if you're watching this live, or comments if you're watching this as a mod, but I think like a lot of the snakes kind of lose their poison in the preparation and cooking phases. But I don't know that for sure because I haven't done any survival stuff at all. I will admit that I've been kind of blessed with a mostly peaceful life and that, but I do have struggles that are close to it. That shows that society isn't what it's doing, society itself isn't serving its purpose. And that's part of the reason why I have a big problem with car dependency. Other than the fact that even if I were to say get a license and all that, it would only do me good for a few decades. But yeah, I think the cooking takes out the venom or the poisonous part. I just don't know. Maybe it's okay to eat as long as they're cooked. This wild lifestyle wasn't something I was used to. I hesitated, but in the end my hunger won. Whole roasted snake. On a scale from incredible to delicious, I'd say it was... No. On a scale from inedible to delicious, I'd say it was bearable. Well then, stay safe. Tell that to yourself. After making a bit of small talk, we parted ways. I returned to my hut and sat down against my bag. Now, what was I going to do tomorrow? First, I should double-check my grandfather's house. Where is he now? When will he come back? I need to find someone who knows. That fails. No, if that fails, I'll head to the police box. I can manage one night outside, but two, that's tough. Worst case scenario, I can't get in contact with my grandfather. Or what happens when you don't have a guardian anyway? I never expected to be in this kind of situation. I don't know how I would be treated. It's bad for the heart not knowing. Anxiety starts setting in. When it does, I try imagining the worst of the worst. It helps me realize that things won't actually be so bad. Makes me feel better. As of now, the worst case scenarios are either being thrown into an orphanage or having to live on my own. Regardless, it would be far better than my time in Tokyo. This remote island, moving out, meeting beautiful girls. It started off so well. Why am I surviving out in the wild now? I'm used to being bullied, so this isn't too bad, but any other boy would probably be crying by now. Oh well, whatever, time to get some sleep. And so that was how my first night after moving ended. In the end, I couldn't get any sleep. Even though I laid down some grass, the ground was still hard and made my back hurt. I kept waking up throughout the night. I adjusted my bag and my body for a comfortable spot. By the time I found a good position, the sky was already high in the sky. At least I can finally rest. Good night. Let me in! What? Okay, let me check on that. Okay. Why do you want in? My sleep was interrupted by a merciless fist. But at least someone hit him. Quite a thing here. What's going on? Am I being attacked? Move over. What? Hey. Leland crammed herself into my single-person hut. It was obviously impossible for us to sit facing each other. So instead she positioned herself right on top of me. What the? Her clothes blocked my entire vision. And based on the clothes I could see I was looking right at her chest. I don't think I've ever been this close to a pair of boobs before. And I want to punch you in the face, Protag. It was so close, though, that I could only make out the stitching of her clothes. Guess being up close isn't always a good thing. So what exactly is going on? Quiet, they're coming. Is it the association? She scolded me in a hushed tone. A moment later, I could hear the angry voices of a few elders. Where did that girl go? She's quick, that one. And she's got no permission to be here, that's for sure. The voices, they're familiar. It's the three from the Seniors Association. They must have caught Leland hanging around in the area this morning. Those guys are trying to drive away outsiders. You should be careful out there, like seriously. I gave her advice with a whisper.
そうなの？野菜を盗んだのがバレたのかと思ったわ。
Oh really? I just assumed they'd caught me stealing their crops. I can't believe it. I'm harboring a literal criminal. You've been way too sheltered, kid. Like, yes, she is stealing. But she's also living life like this, so what do you expect? She's a criminal out of necessity, essentially, here. Hold on, could she be the reason why the Seniors Association is on edge?
言ったみたいね。
Looks like they're gone. It must have been only a few minutes. The elders seem to have given up and left. Sighing, I left the
昼間
hut.
に行動するのは無理かもしれないわね。
It'll likely be impossible to move around during the daytime. Serves you right, maybe don't steal. Get me, Karu, you've got some nerve saying that. 'Cause while she is committing a crime, it's out of necessity.
盗まなかったら死ぬわ。
And what, starve to death? Wow, talk about defiant. Fine, and as payment for feeding me last night, let me teach you a magic spell that'll drive away the seniors. Recite the words, I am a guest of Akari Akatsumi, and they'll disappear into thin air. What are you talking about? Hey, there's no harm in memorizing it. I could tell that Leland wasn't fully convinced, but I still saw her recite the words a few times.
私、もう行くわ。あんたも、私が悪人だって分かったなら、関わるのはやめた方がいいわよ。
Anyway, I'm leaving now that you know I'm a bad person. I suggest you don't get involved with it anymore. And by the way things are going, I think he will get involved with her. Saying that, Leland left. I couldn't help but feel concerned. Is she going to be okay? Where she came from or why she was even here was still a mystery. And no matter how you looked at it, she didn't seem like a tourist either. Well, no use worrying about it now, I guess. I have more important things to worry about, mainly my own survival. I made my way to the port while making sure I wouldn't get spotted by the Seniors Association. The Toyotoki Island ferry makes 2 trips a day, once in the morning and once at night. The ferry goes out in the morning and comes back in the evening, which means to leave the island, you have to be at the port the first thing in the morning. When I arrived at the waiting lounge, it was bustling with islanders. After a quick look, I found who I was looking for. Hey, can I ask you something? As I spoke to them, they took out their earphones and looked up at me.
おや、西目さん、どうしたんですか？
Why?
ストーカーですか？
Why, hello, Nishime. What are you doing here? Stalking me, perhaps? You are an idiot, Akari. And I want to punch you for that. You said my grandfather knew your father, right? Could you ask him where my grandfather might be? Or his contact info, maybe?
いえ、行き先は父も知らないと聞いていますが、何かあったんですか？
Actually, I heard my father doesn't know where he is either. Why? Did something happen? I told her that my grandfather wasn't on the island and that I was in trouble. I also briefly explained how I'd gotten here in the first place.
それはまた。しかし残念ですが、父には西目さんの家庭のことはわからないでしょう。
That's awful. Still, I'm afraid my father won't know anything about your family's circumstances.
役場にも提出の届けがなかったと問題になったくらいですし。
Your grandfather didn't even file a transfer notice. It caused quite a commotion at the town hall. Oh? There goes that idea. That was my one lifeline too. Sorry to bother you.
大したことでは。船が出てしまうので、あかりはもう行きますが、何かあれば連絡してください。美少女が駆けつけますよ。有料で。
No trouble at all. I'll be taking the next boat, but feel free to contact me if anything comes up. This pretty lady will come help. For a fee, of course. Again, I want to punch you in the face. Kari tried to give me her contact information. Unfortunately, I didn't have a phone. There wasn't any time to write it down either, so we decided if anything came up, I would wait for her at the port. Apparently, Akari comes often. No. Apparently, Akari often went to the neighboring island. That meant she was almost always waiting for the ferry. If I wanted to, finding her would be relatively easy. Oh man, I'm beginning to think I was right. I had an ongoing theory since yesterday. One that I didn't want to be true. But now, unable to contact my grandfather, it's starting to feel more and more real. On the road, a life insurance salesman asked me, "Are you enrolled in a life insurance plan?" Definitely not a good thing to be dealing with here. Definitely reminds me of the bots here on Twitch. Oh sure, sign me right up. Suspicious. Very suspicious.
何がどう怪しいのよ。何もおかしなことはしてないわ。
And what's suspicious exactly? I wasn't doing anything wrong. When I got back to the field, Leland was arguing with a man. The man had a towel wrapped around his head, a sickle in his left hand, and working boots on. At a glance, I assumed he was the owner of the field.
私は用事があってここにいるだけ。気にしないで。
I'm here to take care of business. You don't need to mind me. Take care of business, eh? In my field, I don't suppose you're here for work, are you?
それを言う気はないわ。
That's none of your business. She is an idiot here too. Because if they're having discussions like this, then she could easily offer to help tend his field in exchange for the crops. That way, she wouldn't be stealing. So you're trespassing then? Should I call the authorities? The conversation was getting out of hand. No, see, we really are here for work. We just arrived on the ferry yesterday. I decided that it was best for me to jump in. Leland tried to say something, but I signaled her to let me handle it. Quite young, aren't you? What about this girl? Is she in one of those cosplays? I doubt she knows what that is. Excuse me, are you trying to disrespect the culture of her people? Oh no, The man's face turned embarrassed as I yelled at him. Didn't mean to offend none. I know it isn't right to discriminate. This old man just isn't used to seeing foreign folks in person is all. Sorry. Well, as long as you understand, still, she could have done better too. I'll make sure to give her a talking to. Right. So, on to work. Are you two ready? We're ready. Got plenty of energy to spare. Okay, then you can go change over there. Great, we'll get right to it. I took Leland by the hand and left the area.
何のつもり?
What are you up to? What am I up to? You were practically begging to get arrested. And if I wasn't there, you'd be locked up in a cell by now. You even have a passport? Silence. Just as I suspected, she hadn't come to the island by legitimate means. Listen, I don't know why you're here, but you should at least learn to act and not to act so suspicious.
余計なお世話よ。
This is none of your business. For crying out loud, I'm trying to help you. The least you can do is listen. This time I'm kind of siding with the protagonist, for sure. Even though he does make me want to punch him in the face.
誰が気にしてなんて言った?
I don't remember asking you for help. Everything alright now? We're starting soon. We heard the old man calling out from afar. The longer we took, the more suspicious we'd become. For now, just act like we're here to work. That guy probably doesn't have a name roster anyway, we can fool him. If by chance he does have a roster, we could just get away with it by playing dumb. Ever since I was a little kid, I've been good at this kind of thing. Alright everyone, work is over for today. I'll see you all again tomorrow. And just like that, the day's work was done. As payment, we received 10,000 yen. Look at that. We fooled them for a whole day. We were free to go once the work was done. Our job was harvesting sugarcane. As newbies, naturally, we didn't know the first thing about how to harvest. When I tried to ask the other workers, they looked confused as to why I was even here. You over there, pick up the pace. When I fell behind, the other workers began scolding me.
さっさと終わらせるわよ。
Good grief, let's get this over with, shall we? Leland gave me a helping hand. Somehow we managed to finish as quickly as the rest of the professionals. So I tried to help, but in the end she ended up helping me. Embarrassing what a loser I am.
で、何をどう任せておけって?
So was that your idea of handling it? Or
私があんたを助けたように思えたんだけど?
Looked to me like I was the one saving you. Hey, I stopped you from acting suspicious, remember? During our break, they stopped her from trying to drink water from the irrigation lines. What was she thinking trying to drink water from there? I mean, seriously, they gave us bottled tea.
あれは開け方がわからなかっただけ。
That's not... I just didn't know how to open it. And you should have just told me. I would have helped you, no problem. I took the unopened bottle from her and opened it. It's obvious from the tooth marks on the cap that she tried to bite it open. Cautiously, Leland smelled the tea. Then she took a sip.
美味しい。
It's delicious. An extraordinary survival instinct, contrasted with a distant lack of common sense. Again, she's likely been in the survival mode a lot, that Her common sense is different from yours. Where in the world does she grow up in order to turn out this way? You should really be more careful about how you act.
あんた、うるさい。
You're so annoying. Then punch him in the face, Lillian. Look, do you even understand what position you're in right
なん
now?
で私に構うの？何が狙う？
Why do you care about me so much? What is your goal here? I don't have any goals, okay? You helped me out last night, and I'm just repaying the favor. No one wants to see the person that helped them get nabbed by the police, right? Leland looked at me with searching eyes. I could practically feel the distrust from her
そ
gaze.
れで、あんたはどうしたいの？
So what's your plan then? I didn't have anything planned. But without giving it a second thought, I started talking. Let's help each other out. You might be stronger than I am, but you have zero common sense. That's where I come in.
何それ？あんたに何の得があるわけ？
What? What's in it for you? If I'm ever in trouble, I want you to use that strength of yours to help me.
私に関わらない方がいいわ。
You shouldn't get involved with me. It's no good for you. No, duh. I know that already. My offer is still on the table. Lillian carefully considered my proposal. For a moment, silence. Then, in an exasperated voice, she responded,
わかったわ。
Alright, fine. We reached an agreement. I breathed a sigh of relief. I don't even know what I'm doing anymore. Wasn't I supposed to be looking for my grandfather?
じゃあ、私は狩りに行くわ。暗くなる前に食料を調達しなきゃ。
I'll go out hunting then. We have to gather food before it gets dark. What? No, wait! This is going to take a while. The two of us bought lunch boxes at a store. Darn it. I didn't mean to do that. The two of us bought lunch boxes at a store. Then we went to the park to look for some water. Some rusty playground equipment, a grassy field, a drinking fountain, and a bench. It had everything it needed to be called a park, but it looked completely abandoned. Maybe this place had been forgotten. From in between the grass you could see the entire village. The ocean was visible from here too. It was the perfect viewing spot. For a while we enjoyed the view. Then it was dinner on the bench.
それ、何？
What's that? These are chopsticks. People here in Japan use them to eat their
バカ
meals.
ね。そんな棒で食べられるわけないじゃない。
That's stupid. You couldn't possibly eat with those sticks. Seeing the situation that we encounter her in, I do believe that's something that she would consider. But heck, in the Stone Age and such, they made use with whatever they could find. This is just a piece of technology, those sticks, and you use them however you can. That's how I do it a lot of times because of this hand right here. I have to make do with what I can. And if a tool wasn't meant to be used in a particular way that I use it, doesn't matter to me. And it shouldn't matter to anyone else. But those that do have a problem with it, I say they should be punched in the face. Male or female, it doesn't matter. She didn't believe me, so I showed her.
ここは神秘の島というわけね。
This island is full of many secrets. Chopsticks are definitely not secret, but
と
sure.
ころで、あんたはどこから逃げてきたの？
I've been meaning to ask, where did you escape from? An interesting question here. Because he asked where she came from earlier in the story. She didn't want to answer. And now she phrases the same question, but like this. Quite telling, indeed. Escape?
奴隷だったんでしょ？
You were a slave, right? They definitely are Dithrits! Wow, you just said that so casually, I don't even know how to respond to that.
違うの？一人だったから逃げ出したんだろうって思ったんだけど。
Am I wrong? You were all by yourself. I just assumed you were a runaway. I don't understand what she's saying. Well, okay, maybe a little. I had to stop viewing things from my Japanese perspective. So in your country, if a child is wandering by themselves, that automatically means they're a runaway slave?
田舎だとそういうのが多いわね。
In the countryside, generally yes. Wow, that is awful. Such a completely different life than ours here. There are some places in the world that we just don't know about. Those places can be well off, but they can also be destitute. I actually moved here, by the way. My family, well...
あれ？
Well, what? It's kind of a messy story. I wasn't trying to hide it or anything, so I told her how I ended up on the island. About how my aunt and her family were moving abroad. And how my grandfather was supposed to take care of me.
親は？
What about your parents? They died when I was little. I've been living with my aunt ever since.
でも、どうしてあんただけ祖父の家なの？
I see, but why are you the only one moving in with your grandfather? Now that's a good question. I would have to ask to know for sure, but I have a rough idea. I've been thinking about it since yesterday. Why my aunt had really sent me here. And I'd come to one conclusion.
祖父の家に引っ越したのに、私に小屋を作らせたのはなんでよ？いらないでしょ。
Wait, if you're moving in with your grandfather, why did you make me build you a hut? You don't need one. Again, we as the audience know the reason right now. Unless you just came into this, then of course you don't, but this is a good question that she's asking him. That's the thing, he wasn't there, so I couldn't get inside the house.
いない？
He's not here. Yep, he's not on the island anymore. An understandable reaction. That's exactly how I felt
連
yesterday.
絡は取れないわけ？
And you can't contact him or anything? Nope, I asked the one person who knew him, but nothing, even his neighbor couldn't help me out. I still had the option to ask the police, but that also meant risking a one-way trip to the orphanage. Before that, there was something I wanted to confirm. Once I did, I should know whether or not my theory was correct.
だったら早く確認しなさいよ。
What are you waiting for? Go get your answers. Don't need to tell me twice. After throwing away our trash, we returned to the sugarcane field. The sun was still high in the sky, but we didn't have anything else to do. Leland went off on her own, saying she would explore. I was spacing out in front of my hut. What was going to happen to me? The clear, cloudless sky gave no answers. An unfamiliar island, with unfamiliar people. No house, no money. Meh, I'm sure I'll get by somehow. I was tired, so I called it in early and fell asleep. The next day I made my way to the port in the early morning. I bought a ticket and boarded the ferry. My destination, Isaku Island. It was the only island nearby with a high school. I walked around the island using the maps as my guide. And before I knew it, I found the school. The name Hisaku Island High School was carved into the entrance. With eager steps, I walked to the school grounds. I noticed the students stare at me as I walked by, probably because I wasn't in uniform. And during my embarrassment, I entered the building. Hey there, where's your uniform? When I arrived at the visitor's desk, a young teacher greeted me. I have a question, or more like a problem. Who's your homeroom teacher? See, I'm not actually a student here, at least I think. Perhaps they noticed the unusual tone of my voice. The teacher listened with a serious expression. I explained how I moved to Toyotoki Island, how I was a high school student, and how I was supposed to transfer here but couldn't get in touch with my guardian. Okay, I'll look into it. Come in and sit down. The teacher guided me into the waiting room. They even served me tea. I was being treated like a guest. Did that mean I wasn't actually a student here? I was getting more and more pessimistic. I was in the waiting room for so long I was even starting to get depressed. Had it been 5 hours? I looked at the clock and realized that only half an hour had passed. 2 teachers came in holding some documents. One was the teacher from the visitor's desk. The other was an older man who seemed to have been teaching for a long time. The veteran looked at me through their glasses with stern eyes. Let me ask one more time, just in case. Your name is Hikaru Nishima, correct? No, Nishime, correct? Yes, that's correct. Well then, I will start with the conclusion. When I returned to Toyotoki Island, Lillian was at the port. Why are you here?
待ってたのよ。
I was waiting for
気になるから。
I was waiting for you. I wanted to know what happened. But a nosy girl. It wasn't even that interesting of a story anyway.
で、どうだったの？
So what happened? They gave me this. I showed her the paper bag I had received. Inside it was an introductory pamphlet for the school. Simply put, they explained the admission process. What's this? Apparently I can't attend the school. There weren't any students enrolled with the name Nishime. That was the answer the teachers gave me. So instead they gave me the pamphlet. If I wanted to apply for admission, I was welcome to. I see. That wasn't the end of it either. It turns out that I'm not enrolled at my previous school anymore either. Okay. I'm not too sure about you guys, but I'm curious about what is going on. Did they remove him from school entirely as a dropout? Or what? The school had received a notice of withdrawal. And again, these guys are so careless. There's a notice of withdrawal, but no school. This has me going. What's going on here? But I am curious enough to continue on with this. My teachers at that school had tried to contact my guardian, or in other words, my aunt. They made repeated calls, house visits, even asked my classmates for statements. The school had tried everything, but they weren't able to reach her.
どういうことなの?
That doesn't make any sense. I agree with you, Leland. I don't blame her for being confused. Heck, if I hadn't come to my own conclusions, I probably would have felt the same. There was no point in hiding it, so I decided to tell her. I think my aunt and her family pulled a fly-by-night.
夜逃げって?
A fly-by-night? Basically running away to avoid paying debts. See, my uncle was the CEO of a venture company. It was a small company, but it was doing well. My was or wasn't, let me make sure of that. Yeah. Was doing well. Kinda curious. My uncle often went out to dinner parties and spent generously on furniture and appliances. This uncle doesn't sound like a responsible adult at all. But at one point they started running into financial trouble. My aunt and uncle started getting into more arguments, then they started having family meetings that I was excluded from. It was around that time that they decided to move. When my aunt let me know they were moving abroad, she looked exhausted from the stress. But only the three of them would go, my aunt, my uncle, and my cousin. I would be taken care of by my grandfather, they told me. They were moving, yet they weren't bringing any of their things. They didn't even tell me about it until the day before. That was enough evidence for me.
どうしてあんただけ置いていかれるのよ? 家族でしょ?
Why would they leave you out of their plan? Aren't you part of their family? This is a good question in some ways. But after going through Clanad and seeing how well they went through the importance of family and what families are, I'm like, they aren't really his family at all if they do all of this. Family or not, if I can't be useful to them, I'm no more important than the furniture they left behind.
そんな.
What? I mean, think about it. They even lied about my grandfather taking me in. Not even the people on the island knew how to contact my grandfather. So how could my aunt have possibly contacted him? And that's one thing that I was wondering about earlier. I'm not too sure about you guys, but it's so curious about why they would do this. And by what we're reading now, the family line doesn't have that great of communication here. It's all just so weird. They sent me here to buy themselves some time and to get me as far away from Tokyo as possible.
ひどい。ひどすぎるわ。
Unbelievable, those monsters. I'm right there with you, Lilum. But this is also why I think that they're gonna bond here over the course of the story. Alright, settle down. You're taking this worse than I
家
am.
族に裏切られたのに。
How can you be so calm when your own family betrayed you? We come from different families, we're used to different things. I'm more upset that I can't go to school.
そんなに行きたかったの？
You wanted to go that badly? Not really.
どっちなのよ。
What? Which one is it? And I'm glad that she's asking questions like this. But it's kind of understandable that he would answer that way. I just wanted to go for the fun of it. I could have made some friends and walked around the shopping districts. Could have gone to summer festivals. Then there were school festivals and school trips. That was the life I was dreaming of. Well, whatever. Me putting off some dramatic high school debut, that was never going to happen anyway. No, pulling off some dramatic high school debut, that was never going to happen anyway. Let's go home. I was now officially a high school dropout. Goodbye, high school life. Hello, life of a laborer. We made it to the sugarcane field, and there it was, my house, neatly dismantled. My house, it's gone. I worked so hard on it. You made her build it.
言い忘れていたけれど、家は今日の昼頃に消えたわ。
I forgot to mention they took our houses down at noon. Who would do such a thing? Well, the farmers, obviously, because they didn't get their permission to do that. Why not just find a way into your grandpa's old house?
あれよ。
Them. Leland was pointing at the Out with Outsiders banner posted by the Seniors Association. Damn it, those bastards. Those bastards destroyed my house. They're not going to kick me out without a fight. Well, why not figure out how to get into your grandpa's old house?
やめときなさい。喧嘩してもいいことないわ。
Hey, cut it out. There's no point in fighting this. Why the hell are you so calm? Can't you see that our houses are gone? You just have to go with the flow, Hikaru.
ただの小屋でしょ。人が来ないようなところに場所を変えればいいだけじゃない。
It was just a hut, so what? We'll just move somewhere without as many people. Leland looked up to the mountains. She had a point, no one would go up there. But there would be pit vipers too, and I didn't plan on sleeping outside for that long. This girl might be an expert survivalist, but I'm just a regular guy. I can't sleep without a bed, 4 walls, and a roof over my head. You can, and you will. I have a better idea. Follow me.
ちょっと、どこ行くのよ。
Hold on, where are you going? I was biting the bullet. In this situation, I had no other choice. I was down to my last option.
何ここ。
Where are we? This is my grandfather's house. He's not here, and it doesn't sound like he's coming back, which means if we use it, no one will find out.
へえ、それはいい考えね。
Wow, good thinking. She didn't object. Considering her way of thinking, it makes sense. I'm coming to understand her more. But things are different in Japan. What I was about to do was a criminal offense. It was unlawful entry. This might come back to bite me. That's what I've decided to do. It was just me. I could just go to the police. They'd throw me into some foster home. It would be embarrassing, sure, but that'd be it. However, I have Leland with me. Under no circumstances can she afford to be a nuisance to the police. And as someone who suggested that we work together, I can't just run and leave her to fend for herself. I stood in front of the entrance. The door was locked, that much I already knew. I picked up a rock from the garden and bashed the glass door. A loud crash followed by a shower of glass. I was only trying to make a hole, but whatever. I unlocked the door from the inside, and now we were trespassing. The place hadn't been properly ventilated for ages. The stench of dust and mildew assaulted my nose. The lights didn't turn on. I had a sliver of hope that there would be electricity, but no surprise there. He moved abroad after all. I continued down the hall and entered a room. A plain room with tatami flooring. There was a bookshelf, a drawer, and a study desk. Nothing else. By the looks of it, this was a child's room. I was finally able to relax. With some cleaning and ventilation, this place can be totally
よかったじゃ
livable.
ない。家が手に入って。
Good for you. You have a house now. Yep, seems like there are other rooms too. So yeah, if you're okay with it, you could use half of the house if you
使う
want.
って私が？
What, me? Yeah, of course. I can't just leave you to fend yourself in some pit viper infested mountain.
何のつもり？
What's the catch? She looked at me cautious. Even I know that I haven't earned her trust yet. There's no catch, I'm just being nice. I don't want to see you getting caught, that's all.
無関係の他人よ。嫌になる意味がわからない。
You don't know me, I'm a complete stranger. Why would you care? We're not complete strangers, right? I mean, we worked that part-time job at the sugarcane
だ
field.
から。
So what? If someone is in trouble, you help them. Common sense won't get through to her. Well, yes. That's the gist of it in our society, but only if you can. What am I supposed to say?
施しのつもりなら受けないわ。私は一人で生きていける。
I don't need your charity, I can survive on my own. Okay then, why don't you help me out? I don't have the confidence to make it on my own. Why am I trying so hard? I wasn't even sure of what I was saying. I didn't want to lose Leland. Something was possessing me to save
変な
her.
やつ。
You're weird. Well, I agree with you. He is weird, but he's like the typical human being these days. Yeah, I'm a weirdo, okay?
バカなやつ。
You're an idiot too. She's an idiot as well. Sure, I'm an
本
idiot.
当に狙いはないのね。
You really mean it? There's no catch? No
なら
catch.
住んでもいいわ。
In that case, alright, I'll stay here. Finally, Leland gave in. Felt like I had forced her into a decision, but on this occasion I decided not to worry about it. I only realized it afterwards, but I must have felt lonely. Having someone I could trust. Someone that I could lean on. I don't think I could have lived without something like that. These feelings that he's presenting is exactly why we need to reduce our dependence on cars. Because, while it's not a perfect world in that, society is what's causing a lot of our problems, especially with our own loneliness. And that's because we are relying so heavily on cars which should only be used when they're the most practical. I don't hate cars and such entirely. That's just the way that I see things like that. Let's see. And by having things more walkable, you can encounter people more easily at random times and build your community that way. But right now, he's lonely, and I do kind of feel that a bit. I'm just saying, this is exactly why we need to have change back to the way things were. Not completely. I'd say we need a mix of modern standards of ethics and such with what we had like a century ago and that, because it would be a lot easier. Even if it was a suspicious girl from a different country, it's enough just having her there. It's been 10 days since I came to the island. I'm still surviving. I was able to get a job at the sugarcane mill. Once harvested, sugarcane gets turned into sugar. The job was pretty easy to find thanks to that. We were paid by the day in cash. It was perfect for me since I didn't have a bank account. Leland apparently had gotten a job as some sort of receptionist. Not at all the right job for her, I thought, but I didn't have a chance to say anything about it. Because despite living in the same house together, we barely saw each other. When she wasn't working, Leland would stay holed up in her room. I wonder what she was doing in there. But more than that, I had no time to worry about anyone else. I had the basics: food, shelter, and clothes. But I wasn't exactly living in luxury. At the moment, the biggest issue was the lack of water, gas, and power. Since we didn't have running water, we couldn't use the bath or toilet. Our only option was to bathe at the park and do our business out in the garden and cover it with dirt. I couldn't help but feel a little uncivilized at the way we were living. Like we were barely scraping by. I wanted a better life for myself. With that as my motivation, I worked every day. When I came home after buying dinner, I heard a sound from the kitchen. Someone was walking around, opening and closing the cabinets. Voice followed, asking, "Where is it hidden?" Was it a thief? It couldn't be. No, it could. I mean, the front door was in shambles. I quietly approached the kitchen and looked in. There, sticking out of the pantry, was a butt. What are you doing?
探し物。
Looking for something. The butt spoke. Okay. Why phrase it like that? Because it was obviously her that spoke. It was Leland's voice. Leland has been like this ever since coming to this house. Making a mess, wiping things without asking. The concept of restraint seemed alien to her. It was like I had invited the thief into my house. What do you want this time? I put my lunchbox next to the sink. It was then that my eyes fell on an unfamiliar piece of cloth. What's this?
勝手に触らないで。
Did I say you could touch it? Leland jumped to her feet and snatched the cloth. Is it that important?
願望の服なの。
They're clothes for a baby. Okay, why would she be saying that if she's mostly holed up in a room and they hardly see each other? For a baby? What the heck would she use that for? Well, that was pretty obvious. To dress a baby with it, duh. But whose baby? That was the question.
私じゃないから。
They're not for me. Yeah, obviously. Is it for work?
あんたには関係ないわ。
It's none of your business. God, she can be so annoying. Fine, go make baby clothes or a freaking mulberry coat for all I care.
パトルースの油はどこ？
So where's the Paturus is oil? What did you
パト
say?
ルース。明かりが欲しいの。どこにあるわけ？
Paturus. I need light. Where is it? Beats me. What makes you think we'd have something like that
どう
anyway?
やって明るくするのよ。火に連なるものを逐一呼び出しでもするわけ。
How do you make the rooms brighter then? And what do you just call over those who are tuned to fire each time? Her idea of that is kind of funny. Obviously, this place uses electricity, but even without electricity, I do kind of wonder how they get light too. So we haven't seen the windows. Huh? I wasn't following the conversation at all. I really wish she would stop using religious jargon like that. We don't have lights because we don't have electricity. If you want light, you'll have to use a candle.
じゃあそのろうそくとやらでいいわ。どこにあるの？
Fine then, tell me where these candles are. No clue. If there aren't any in the kitchen, maybe they're in the altar room.
探しておいて。私は出かけてくるから。
Find it for me, I'm heading out. Hey, who do you think you are? Where are you going?
秘密。どこだっていいでしょ。
It's a secret, it doesn't matter anyways. And with that, Leland left the kitchen. What's her deal? She's getting on my nerves. Telling people to do her bidding like that. Despite that thought, the bullied little errand boy I was started diligently looking around for candles. Found one. The storage room. Who knew there were a bunch of things in here. Good, I found it. I heard a sound coming from the garden. It sounded like heavy things were being tossed onto the ground. There shouldn't be anyone out there, but I checked just in case. When I peeked from the living room, I saw a mountain of soil in the garden. Piles of earth, as if someone had been digging something up. I wasn't aware that the garden was being remodeled. But why was the soil being... Someone showed up. I closed the curtains and watched what was happening from in between them. Leland was carrying a sandbag and dumped the contents on the garden. That must have been what the noise was.
まだまだろうを作るには足りないわね。
Ooh, I still need a lot more to make a fireplace. Why make a fireplace? A fireplace? I'm thinking the same thing because with that kind of house, there's gotta be some kind of chimney. I couldn't bear it anymore, so I went outside. Where did you bring these sandbags
海に
from?
落ちてたの。
They were left over there by the coast. That's because they were piled up.
そうよ。積んであったの。
Right, they are just piled up over there. That's not what I mean. This was undeniably stealing. It seemed like she brought them here completely unaware. Listen, these are used whenever there are floods, okay? If you take it without permission, that's
こ
stealing.
れが嘘でしょ。
These, you're lying. Why would I lie? Now hurry up and take them back before they catch you again.
じゃあ中身だけもらうのはありでしょ。
We can at least keep the soil, right? No. The soil inside is what makes it work.
よくわかんないわね。
That makes no sense. Whatever, just go and return them. If the cops get involved, we're
う
screwed.
るさいわね。どうでもいいでしょ。
Oh, be quiet. I'm sure it doesn't matter. It does matter, actually. Don't mess with the police. Hey now, what's this about the police maybe you'd like to share with an officer? A police officer was peering into the garden. Seems like the god of fate is just itching for an excuse to bully me today. Those sandbags, they look mighty similar to the ones that just went missing. Great, they caught us. But listen, what we can explain. I fumbled my words. She just came to Japan and she doesn't understand the rules yet. Ah, this young lady here? You see, she was trying to make a fireplace for me because in her country a fireplace is the only way for them to use fire. We know stealing is bad, and of course she just thought the sandbags are just left there. You know, abroad people use stuff lying around all the time. Is that right? I don't think the cop will give you the time of day here. Is that right? It is. I see, that makes sense. Right. That's why she picked them up and tried to make a fireplace. I was telling her that what she did, it was wrong and we were going to start taking them back. So please, do you think you could let it slide this time? Still, that girl looks like a foreigner. We're going to have to check her passport. That's my sister you're talking about! That's how she's going to cover this! Oh my gosh! Who are you calling a foreigner? She's obviously Japanese. Or what, are you saying she's not to the right skin color? You brought up foreign. I mean, you brought up foreign. You were the one who brought that up. Quit the crap, okay? This is a serious accusation. At any rate, my definitely Japanese sister here was only trying to build a fireplace for me. That's why she picked up the sandbags under the impression that they had been left there. You're just digging yourself a grave here. It's only natural in Southeast Asia. The officer was clearly confused, and honestly, so was I. I didn't even know what I was saying anymore. Okay, I understand. Now just make sure you return them and I'll let it go. Yes, sir. Somehow we got him to let us go. Now it was a matter of returning the sandbags. All in all, it was a success. I thought we were done for. The two of us went to return the sandbags. I was barely able to carry one at a time. Meanwhile, Leland would carry 3 at once. Her Herculean strength was a mystery. How can someone with a pin-up model body be so ridiculously strong? She's strong because she is involved with the gym of life, you fool. Everything about this girl was
私を
unpredictable.
助けて何のつもり？
Why did you help? What do you want from me? I don't want anything. I helped you because I wanted to help you. Plus, that cop would have arrested me too.
何が狙い？
What are you after? Again with that? It was hard having your good intentions misunderstood. I wonder what she went through to be so deeply distrustful of people. That's just one of our tenets. If someone is in trouble, you help them out. Or you could have just been too sheltered to realize. Hikaru. An explanation that even Leland could understand. After a lot of thinking, that was what I'd settled
嘘
on.
つき。敬虔な信者はそんな軽薄な格好をしてない。
Liar, if you're truly of devout faith, then why do you dress so plainly? What does it matter? You got me there.
私を売るつもり？
Do you plan to sell me? Are you kidding me? Do I look like a slaver to you?
そうなんだと思ってたけれど、違うなら私に関わらない方がいいわ。
I thought you might be at first, but if that's not the case, then I recommend you not get involved with me. Yeah. I answered lightly. I didn't think anything would come of it, at least not at the time. Even after that, Leland's eccentric behavior
この辺
continued.
で邪神の生贄にされた人の話を聞いたことはない。
Has anyone been sacrificed to an evil god around here lately? Oh my goodness. My goodness. I don't know about you guys there, but I just don't think I could take her seriously here. These are the type of questions she was asking the islanders. Evil gods, sacrifices, words you wouldn't normally hear in modern-day Japan. I had received complaints that she had been bothering the islanders. I'm sorry, she's just conducting research on folklore stories. You should be careful now, some folk don't take too kindly to that sort of talk. Yes, I will make sure to let her know. Again, I apologize for the trouble. I quietly bowed my head. With the way my aunt raised me, I was good at delivering apologies. Once I get into apology mode, I become emotionless. It makes it easier for me to say things I don't actually feel. And that's actually concerning to me there. After a day's worth of apologizing, I returned home. Leland was happily jotting down the results of her investigation into a notebook. Great. Take my notebook while you're at it. Not like I need it or anything.
何かあったわけ？
Did he say something? Nothing. Nothing at all.
そう。
Okay. At first I warned her to stop, but after the third time I just gave up. She wasn't the type to listen. At this point my go-to phrase was, screw it, who cares anymore? I'd basically given up. And then one day, there was an incident. During my work break I went to buy lunch. The other workers brought packed lunches, but I had to buy my own. The shops were a fair distance away from the factory, mostly because you had to climb over a small hill. I made my way up the lonely hill. At one point the paved road came to an end. From then on, I was no different from a it was no different from a mountain trail. This was one of the island's more scary aspects. Nature will suddenly bare its fangs without warning. Then it vanished quickly as quickly as it had appeared. I was back to human civilization. This would repeat over and over. It was when I was in the civilized part I encountered something strange. There was a dog sitting on the side of the road. I couldn't just leave it alone, so I went over to check on it. The dog was dirty, covered in mud. It was a small dog, and I wasn't sure of the breed. When I touched its head with my finger, it let out a soft whimper. It showed no sign of moving. As I continued my observation, I noticed something. The dog's rear was covered in some sort of fluid, and there was something sticking out of it. Oh no. I know what this is. There's no mistaking this. It's giving birth. Dogs are said to have easy childbirths, but this one was in bad shape. The baby dog's legs were sticking out, but it wasn't moving either. This can't be good. I hurriedly picked up the dog in my arms. If this was Tokyo, I could take it to the vet, but on Toyotoki Island, we didn't have that option. Help, somebody! I rushed over to the only hospital on the island. It was lunchtime, so no one was in the waiting room. A tanned Okinawan-looking lady appeared at the front desk. Upon closer inspection, I realized it was Leland.
何してんのよ。
What are you doing here? This dog is dying. Please do something.
はい。ここは人間の病院なんだけど。
Well, this is a hospital for humans. Well, duh! I know that, but we don't have a vet here.
ちょっと待ってて。
Wait right here. Leland disappeared into the back. I sat in a chair in the waiting room. The dog rested on my lap. Her breathing was shallow. It seemed to me like she was looking pale too. Woo, where is Tokyo? The dog whined painfully, and for some reason I could understand it. I held her front paws tightly. Hey, it's me. It's Tokyo. My emotions got the best of me. Tokyo, don't leave me. I'm not going anywhere.
ダメよ。先生は往診中で連絡がつかなかった。
It's no good, the doctor's out on call and they're not picking up. I get the feeling that they're gonna help the dog with birth right now. Leland came back, but the doctor we needed wasn't here. What are we gonna do? My kid's life is on the line.
落ち着いて。それはあんたの子じゃないわ。
That's not your child. Calm down. There's gotta be a vet
隣
somewhere.
の島だって。犬だし、放っておけば。
There's one on a neighboring island. It's just a dog though. Why bother? You're heartless. Can't you see she's suffering?
だからって犬なんか。
Like I said, it's just a dog. Shut up, it doesn't matter if she's a dog. She's being too insensitive, so I snapped. The life of a dog might not have any value where you're from, but not for me. I wanted to save its life.
そんなに行きたいなら連れて行ってあげるけど。ただし、無料ではやらないわ。
If you want to go that bad, I can take you there, but I won't do it for free. Is this girl seriously putting a price on life? I wanted to yell at her, but this was a small price to pay to save the dog's life. I took out the wallet. I took the wallet out of my pocket and threw it at Leland. It had all my life savings, but compared to this life, it was
バカじゃ
nothing.
ないの。そこまでする？
Are you stupid? You're seriously doing this? I paid you. Now keep your end of the
わかっ
bargain.
たわかった。ついてきて。
Alright, come with me. Leland left the hospital and started running eastward. It didn't take us long to reach the coast. There was neither a port nor a beach, and therefore no reason for anyone to be around. The port is the other way. Let me see the dog. She took the dog from me and laid it on the ground. Wait, what are you doing? Leland side-eyed me. She picked up a stone. She then arranged stones of similar size in a circle and began whispering something towards it. What felt like 10 seconds went by. Then Leland held the dog in her arms and gripped my hand. Hold on tight. We climbed onto the breakwater and finally we jumped. The sensation of floating pierced my brain. I saw the ocean get closer from between the tetrapods. We were about to fall right into the water, but then we were walking on air? What? I almost preferred to have fallen in the ocean. At least that would have been something I could understand. But this, on the other hand, we were flying through the sky. No, that's impossible. Was this some sort of hallucination? If it was, though, the sensation of floating felt way too real. I started feeling nauseous. Got the hang of it yet? I'm going to speed things up. No, I haven't. Please stop, please. My pleading fell on deaf ears. And like an airplane, we started picking up speed. We're gonna die! We flew for about 10 minutes. Before I knew it, we were standing in front of a hospital. Isaku Island Veterinary Hospital. That's what was written on the front door. I had no idea what was going on. Was this a dream? This must be a dream. Wake up. Okay, they didn't go for the anime cliche of helping the thing give birth, but they've got to a veterinarian hospital, obviously. Go on, get in there already. You passed the dog to me. Right, I came here to save this dog. How I got here doesn't matter. The surgery took a few hours. I was starting to get tired of waiting when the doctor came out of the surgery room. Doctor, how is she? She needed a C-section, but she gave birth safely. You two came in the nick of time too. Any longer and we might have had trouble. Oh, thank goodness. I felt a wave of relief and my body felt drained. I saved her life. That feeling was enough to keep me going. They also explained the dog's condition. Because she needed to be hospitalized, it would be a few days before she was discharged. I thanked the doctor and left the hospital. At the same time, Leland let out a sigh. So what are you going to do with the dog? She had a collar on, so she must be someone's pet. I'll give her back to her owner. You used up all of your money to save someone else's dog? So it's my money. You're such an idiot. I do what I want. You can piss off. Sometimes a man just has to stand his ground. When your pride is on the line, you have to fight. This was one of those times. Oh, fine, I'll just go home then alone. Bye-bye. Actually, it'd be great if you could, take me with you. I used all my money on the dog. I didn't have a penny to my name. Leland didn't take me with her. I wouldn't... No, if Leland didn't take me with her, I wouldn't be going home tonight. Needs a little more sincerity. Oh, of course, what do you want me to do? Beg, grovel, I'll do it. Just please take me with you. Unfortunately, my pride doesn't come at a high cost.
After that ordeal, my boss at the factory chewed me out for taking time off without permission. As punishment, they docked my pay for a day. For someone with not a penny to his name, it was a harsh punishment. On the bright side, I found the dog's owner. It was a small island, so I was able to find them just by the fact that it was a small pregnant dog. As it turns out, she was the daughter of the factory owner. Just like that, they started treating me much better. They even gave me a gift certificate as a bonus. You never know what's going to happen in life. But that wasn't important. There was still Leland. That day I flew through the sky. The ocean at my feet. The scent of the tide. The strange feeling of being pulled up into the air. Everything was real. I traveled a distance that would have taken the ferry 30 minutes to cover. And I couldn't stop thinking about how unnatural it was. After we got back to the island, I decided to confront her about it. Care to explain how the hell we flew through the sky? Just as we got to the entrance of the house, I stopped her. It was magic because I'm a witch. Her tone was solemn, as though her confession was not to be taken lightly. And I'm thinking here that they missed a lot of things that could have made this a lot better, like actually show us their flight and such, instead of making it go whoosh and that to just a transition. Like, maybe if it wasn't the first time, but this was the first time it happened, so they should have highlighted that. I was shocked, and for a while I was at a loss for words. Magic? Witch? Though I had experienced it myself, I still couldn't quite process the reality. Are you scared? That's why when she asked me the question, I tilted my head in confusion. It's strange, sure, but it isn't scary. Huh? Okay. I wasn't exactly sure what I had convinced her of. Besides, I hadn't fully grasped the concept of witches existing in the first place. I've never seen a witch before, there's no way they're real. But you've heard of witches, haven't you? Yeah, but those are just stories. That doesn't mean they exist in the real world. The idea of some hidden magical world was ridiculous too. You can only hide so much with magic. There has to be a limit. The reality wasn't that easy. But maybe you should be scared? What, so I'm supposed to be scared of you? That's how it's supposed to be. You don't seem that scary, though. She acted suspicious, but I didn't find it scary at all. She looked more like an actress than anything, and honestly, that was a big part of it. Hold on, guys. I need to charge this controller. So be right back. It's gonna take a while.
Alright, I'm back. I just need to get back into the game here. Because this was the first I had to put my console to sleep and such. And as for the stream itself, I'm gonna go on a bit longer, even though I normally end about now. I'm gonna just let it close out the day of the story and then call it, though. So regardless if it's chapter end or it goes to the next day, then... Let's see. Let's see, so now here it goes. What am I supposed... No, what? So I'm supposed to be scared of you? That's how it's supposed to be. You don't seem to be that scary, though. She acted suspicious, but I didn't find it scary at all. She looked more like an actress than anything. And honestly, that was a big part of it. As I said that, Leland turned to me with both her hands suddenly... she suddenly grabbed my face. She pulled my face in close with twice the strength I had expected. She stared straight into my eyes, inches away from my face.
怖いところ見たい?
Do you want to see something scary? My head was fixed as if in a vice. I couldn't even move an inch. If she had been some kind of monster, I would have definitely wet myself, but she was a girl standing in front of me. That's all she was. I wasn't scared at all. Humans are dumber than we give ourselves credit for. Is this supposed to be scary?
魔女は子供をさらって悪魔の生贄にすると聞いても
What if I told you that witches snatch up children and sacrifice them to demons? It's no skin off my nose. I shook off her hands. She didn't put up much resistance. She let go of my face and took some distance. I couldn't read anything from her expression. By looking into her magic gaze, I'd been put under a spell. Was an outcome I'd considered, but I was okay with that. Sounded pretty exciting, actually. Anyway, why did you become a witch? What kind of magic can you use? Where do magic users live? I had so many things I wanted to ask her, but I couldn't put them properly into words.
何?
Anyway, what? How do you use magic? A safe question.
教えて私は何の得をするの?
Why should I tell you? She flat out rejected the question. I pressed her on the issue, but she didn't give it a second thought. She took my money to save the dog, but she won't tell me what I wanted to know. This girl is just awful. Okay. This sounds like the start of the next day, so I'm gonna try and call it here. Let's see how saving works. Okay. It's nice. Okay. So... Okay. That's just auto. Okay, so let's do here. Confirm. Alright. So we've got our save. With that, I thank you all for coming. If you're watching this on YouTube and you liked it, be sure to leave a like and leave a thumbs up, yeah. And if you want to chill with me again, be sure to hit that subscribe button, and hopefully you'll be notified of when I'll be streaming again. And if you're on Twitch, you guys know what to do. As for when I'll be streaming again, I plan to be streaming again tomorrow morning, I want to say. But be sure to check my socials on that. And with that, let me check on somebody to raid for my Twitch viewers. I'm not really seeing anyone that I want to raid through those places, so let's do what I normally do. We'll search for anyone else streaming this game, in case you guys want to continue on with it, or I will just search for a random game that I like. Okay, nobody but me is streaming that, so let's go look for something that I like. Okay. We will be rating a Mad Squirrels Inc. who's playing Trails in the Sky. I don't know about them, so this will be a first time I have experience with them, and give them my regards. When you guys get there, tell them I'll be there when I can. And with that out of the way, I thank you all again for coming. Bye!